Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this time for our webinar. My name is Dee Goldman. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for RADWIN, responsible for the company's vertical markets. We'll discuss that later. In our webinar today, I want to present an overview of the emerged digitalization using teleoperation machinery and vehicles for industrial users. We'll focus in mining, ports, and construction sites. There are, of course, other segments using teleoperation, though we will focus on these three segments during the session of this, during our session now. For any questions, please use the Q&A tool that you have on your screen. That way, it will allow me to see the question, and hopefully we'll be able to answer during the session. If not, I will send a reply to each one of you by email following the webinar. So just before we start discussing teleoperation, just a short introduction of RADWIN for those of you who are not familiar with us. So RADWIN is a leader, global provider of broadband wireless solution, focusing on sub-6 unlicensed spectrum. The company produces carrier-grade radio solutions for more than 20 years now, with more than 1 million radio units already deployed worldwide. We have those solutions deployed in over 170 countries and are certified by Tier 1 carriers like Verizon, T-Mobile, Telefonica, and others. Our solution includes point-to-point and point-to-multipoint, as well as a mobile network, and we will review them shortly later on. We have a partnership with Facebook to develop broadband wireless solution in the millimeter wave, 60 gigahertz. We also formed a partnership with Microsoft to develop a broadband wireless solution in the sub-1 gig, also known as the TV white space. And these partnerships with global industry giants provide the recognition of our technological capabilities in developing innovative broadband wireless solutions. So that's in brief about us, about RADWIN. This is what we are going to review today during the session. So we'll present an overview of the emerged digitalization using teleoperation machinery or vehicles for industrial users, specifically in mining, seaports, and construction sites. We will review advantages and challenges of teleoperation in those industries, and the application per each industry, and some case studies for it. We'll talk a bit about how to overcome technological and infrastructure challenges to correctly support the teleoperation system, some of the communication aspects that needs to be addressed or taken into consideration. And lastly, we will have a short overview of RADWIN solutions that are deployed for various teleoperation projects around the world. Okay, so just to quickly introduce or align what it is when we talk about teleoperation for industrial application, such as those that in our discussion. So let's set the definition. So using teleoperation allow an operator to work the machine from distance, providing safety to the operator from one end, but also reducing costs and hazards in the short and long terms for the either plant or mine or site, wherever these machines are deployed. And as the digitalization emerge and more and more such reliable solutions are in the market, that introduce more and more teleoperation machinery or even automated or autonomous vehicles, additional aspects of efficiencies are getting into the equation when looking at this type of application operational needs. We see the growing application using teleoperation for industrial use cases, starting from small indoor machines, such as in warehouses or big stores, either assisting in stock movements or even within factories and indoor for operational needs. This reach all the way to the big machines used for our type of application, such as reclaimers, stackers, trucks, and others that we will specify later on. In all cases, the main motivation seems to be efficiencies. The use of these machines allow higher efficiency from different aspects. One of them being that one operator can operate few machines sometimes. Shifts changes become more easy and less time consuming. There is a higher amount of time of these machines spent in the field due to this. And that obviously increase efficiency and reduce operational cost around it. The other motivation is the ability to reduce employee risk and keep them safe, reduce the need to be present at remote site, the ability to attract also manpower to indoor operation is easier to do rather than remote outdoor operation. And this provides also the comfort and the improved employees' welfare. In addition to that, one last layer to discuss that is also here, repetitive tasks can be almost fully automated with operator intervention reserved only for handling unexpected events, such as when an object is dropped or something gets broken or gets on the way. For other jobs that may be carried out more efficiently by a machine than a human being, such as precise linear movement or a constant contact force control, an automatic controller may be used to assist the operator, making all of these tasks much more accurate and much easier to handle. Having stated few of the high-level advantages of using teleoperation, there are still challenges that needs to be addressed to make this an optimal solution and make sure that the goals are reached. Usually, these sites are located in remote distances or remote areas, such as in a mine operation or construction sites, or some of them are located in areas where it's very hard or not possible to place new communication cables, whether it's fiber with high capacity or even copper, such as we have in ports. The type of operation requires reliable communication between the operator and the machine, and it is a key to being a successful operation. Therefore, minimal disruption is needed during this operation. Another thing that requires attention is the fact that in many such applications, extensions or additions of machines are required as the operation enhanced or move forward. For example, in mining, the pit can grow larger, or in ports, we can add piers or machines that will need a network that will support the flexibility, the extension, and will allow movement of the machine from one place to another, or even sometimes the entire operation to move from one end to another, like happens sometimes, again, in mining or construction sites. Before getting into each of the application in a little bit more details, a few points to have in mind when looking at the communication solution for teleoperation. So, as mentioned, reliability is a key here. So high quality link is essential to allow smooth operation without any shutdowns or any errors. In many cases, wireless infrastructure is the only solution, such as in mines. In others, it's the optimal solution, which will allow easier expansion of network, providing broadband network to remote site, allowing movement of the machines, and also allow easier redeployment in cases where the network needs to be moved. And as more and more sensors and cameras are used for these operations, it is important to have a solution with low latency and low jitter connection with minimal packet loss that will ensure high reliability. So let's drill down a bit to each of the application and see some of the machineries and the use of it. As I mentioned in my general introduction, the world is going more and more towards digitalization, and we see it in many, I would say maybe even every industry or vertical, some with more presence and others just getting started, but altogether it is getting there. And to me, the mining is one of these markets where digitalization phase goes relatively quickly. It's a market that is much more adaptive to this type of technology, and it allows the mines to make the operation safer and optimized. And we see this increase in the last few years when more and more teleoperation takes part. There are some obvious considerations when looking at the mining application. First of all, there are multiple applications, starting from drillers to trucks to reclaimers and stackers. As you can see here on the pictures, shovel, bulldozers, etc. They are usually, the mines are located in distance location. Even if you have a mine offices or headquarters located in one place, usually the pits are located in a farther away from it. The operation is usually in high risk environment, a lot of machines, a lot of dust, temperature variation, etc. Many type of heavy machinery is used, as I mentioned, and if not, some of them are obviously not teleoperated, but can be adopted or put on the teleoperation system. And we see more and more companies already delivering teleoperated or autonomous or even automated driverless trucks into this type of operation. One additional thing to keep in mind, sites are moving and expanding constantly. That requires understanding of the network, changing into it, redeployment, replanning to make sure that these machineries are constantly connecting, even when changes occur in the mine. There is no option to draw a fiber line into the mine itself. It's constantly moving and digging, so that's an obvious thing. And there are many operational areas in the mines. Each one requires its own network. Sometimes each area even have more than one network. And we also need to keep in mind that some of these networks are labeled as critical, delivering those applications where there is absolutely a need for it to continue on working 24/7, towards other applications that are considered less critical and have less requirements of the network capability itself. So all of these challenges together require optimal planning of the network when looking at the future-proof solution, as well as high reliability and high capabilities. So we reviewed, or I talked about some of the high-level challenges involved with the mining application. It's worth mentioning here that we are going to have a dedicated webinar to the mining industry, covering all aspects of network requirements, from fixed and backhaul needs to the teleoperated machineries and everything that's in between. It is scheduled to the beginning of November, and we will send you out an invite to join. And also, please visit our online event section on the website to see more webinars. As mentioned, mining is usually an early adopter, and We can see this with the teleoperation as well. This is also seen with the approach and the understanding of the needs to have high reliable wireless network solution that will provide our answer to multiple aspects of the mine requirements. And RADWIN is providing this type of solution for mining industry for many years now, delivering both the fixed side, the fixed network and backhaul network solution, as well as nomadic and mobility solution that support the teleoperation, autonomous cars, etc. The mobile network that we have is highly reliable. It provides high performance with up to 750 megabit per second of throughput per base. The fixed is providing up to 1.5 gigabit per second per sector. So altogether, we have the ability to answer all the needs of these teleoperated machineries, and we'll review some of those value proposition later on per each of the products. Let's move on to see some of the application and use cases that we've seen. I just wanted to provide here some brief view, so not too many details, and it will be covered in more details during the mining session. But you can see here applications that were served by our point-to multi-point and point-to-point solution for reclaimer and stacker from the mining stockyard. These machines are either move relatively slow or very slow, or even static in some cases. That means that they move once in a while per their needs, or move, like I said, very, very slowly and in designated lanes usually. And this allows our jet family to support the connectivity needs. You can see this provides connectivity for data, telemetry, and video streams from the machine themselves. And on the right side, some names for similar products or similar projects, sorry, that we have delivered over the last couple of years. Important to note, providing 24/7 high-speed connectivity, allowing real-time monitoring of the application and the work around the machines. Moving on to additional application, also connecting reclaimers. You can see some additional points about the offering that we provide. So no downtime, SLA per machine, beam tracking and redundancy, and automatic base station selection. We will touch those when I speak about the products, but these are high factors or high valuable factors for the customers to have a reliable connection to the machines at all times. I wanted to give as well one backhaul mobile network or mobile network backhaul that connects trailers inside the pit, but also machines. Again, SLA per machine, allow video and telemetry system connectivity. You can see on the right side some of the other applications that we did around the world with some big players, some local players. All of these parameters that I mentioned allow smooth operation and to monitor the video and telemetry equipment with zero downtime. Going for the next application, this is another one where there is a high impact for automation, and more projects are going toward either full or semi-automation of the port in order to support higher capacities of the port, as well as to increase efficiency and reduce operational risk and costs. When looking at the digitalization of ports, The most common applications are the ship-to-shore cranes, which is in the center of the picture here. This is the pick for this matter, containers from the ship to the yard. The RTGs, rubber tire gantry, which you see on the top picture, and the AGVs, automated guided vehicles, which are on the right bottom side. Each plays its own part of making the port automation work properly. When looking at semi-automated port, some of these machines are automated and the rest are still man-driven or man-operated. And when looking at full automated, then all of them are automated and connected back to the control center. All of these need reliable transmission of data, both the STS, the RTG, and the AGV, using camera sensors that are mandatory for the operation. I will mention also in this point that similar to the mining, port operation also include fixed assets, such as the gate monitoring, video surveillance, building connectivity, etc. And of course, ship-to-shore or ship-to-port connectivity for parked or docked ships while they are at the port. And for this as well, we will have a dedicated session to the ports that will cover all of the application I just mentioned and more. And again, we will send an invite, planning this for end of October. So, adding a few details from the manpower or the employee point of view. Such use of remote control room provide employees with many advantages. We mentioned some of them: better ergonomics and comfort, so a better work environment, the ability to operate in every weather. There is no risk going out in the rain or in the snow. You are sitting in a comfort control room. It reduces the time and risk that involved with going into the machine, going on them, going from them, and reduce this risk and the cost that are around it. And of course, this provides an improved and secured safety personnel that allows also to attract people to work in a very comfort environment rather than on the machine themselves. Looking at what RADWIN bring to this market of teleoperation or autonomous needs, automated needs. So ability to connect more cameras in longer range, high capacity, I mentioned 1.5 gigabit with dual carrier beamforming. We also have improved interference immunity, which provide almost it's like a point-to-point link, a synchronized network that support up to 90% uplink. This is highly important when talking about video transmission. Most of the transmission is uptime, and we allow up to 90% of it to the uplink, which is very useful. And of course, a reliable and high capacity with a wide coverage of mobility network. I mentioned it up to 750 megabit. Going about some of the deployments example we had around the world. This is an application in China. You can see the difference in sizes of the RTGs, the rubber tire gantries, that are connected back to the control room. The use of the RTGs, of course, increase the overall container stacking capabilities and capacities in the port, and increase the efficiencies and the timing of the entire operation. Continuing with another Chinese application in the port of Shanghai, one of the biggest ports, maybe in the world. This is an application, again, connecting RTGs to the control room. We have provided wide deployment in the Shanghai port, both in the east and the Mingdong container terminal. Wireless network is mainly used to transmit high definition video surveillance from the crane and business data and voice over IP system, as well as PLC signaling services. And the operator, as you can see, can sit in a remote control in the NOC and control the cranes and control more than one from his location. So there are almost 30 ship-to-shore cranes that are, or K cranes that are connected, sorry, and over 30 RTGs that are connected, and there is a plan to expand this in the near future. And as I mentioned, our solution here providing high bandwidth with low latency, interference mitigation, and multi-service stable transmission. That's why RADWIN was chosen here by the client. This is a critical application for them. Last application I wanted to review here is a construction site. I assume it's less congested with the teleoperation as the previous two, but it is another emerging industry where we see more and more teleoperation. These are, again, in many cases, remote locations, much similar to the mining, with in which physical connection is not optional. And of course, there are a lot of changes. The construction site starts, expand, terminate, and move on. So another point to remember, there's also, like the mining, harsh environment, sometimes even difficult than the mining, depending when you are and how crowded it is. And there is an increase in this type of project for teleoperation machine, as I mentioned. So basically, same as in the others, we bring the same solution to these parts as well, deploying wireless network, either fixed to support or mobile to support this type of teleoperation connectivity, depending on the site, how big it is, and depending on the machine themselves as well. So that was my description of the applications. And I remind again that please use the Q&A question. I will try to look at them and provide answers either during the presentation or later on. Let's review how RADWIN play in these markets and what we offer. As I mentioned in the beginning, RADWIN provide point-to-point and point-to-multipoint solution that are targeted for service providers providing cellular and IP backhaul, as well as enterprise and residential broadband access. And of course, we have radio solutions for private networks for vertical industries. And by vertical industries, you can see here the highlight of them, which is mining, utilities, oil and gas, ports, smart city, transportation, and others. Mobility solution that we have is called Fiber in Motion. It has been in the market for over 6 years. It's RADWIN broadband access solution for the transportation segment. We are deployed in many train, metro applications around the world, as well as mining and port supporting vehicles on the move. So we are producing this type of solution and allowing higher mobile network capacities. Going to review some of the products highlights or value proposition that we have to put things in perspective. And as we will have follow-up webinars, which will be more focused on each of the industries, we will drill down into the products themselves per site. I just wanted here to give an overview of what can fit those teleoperation application, and so you have the knowledge about it. So when talking about point to multi-point products or solutions, we have the Jet series, which include the Duo, the Pro, and the Air, as well as multi-sector for the point to multi-point. We provide with the Jet Duo high capacity of up to 1.5 gigabit, addressing all the teleoperation machinery backhaul connectivity needs. There is a nomadic feature that is supported here, which enabling redundancy as well. We have an automatic best HBS selection that addresses the customer need to provide highest capacity automatically by the performance. 90% uplink, as I mentioned, very unique. Address the company needs to provide high-speed link connectivity to all the video application, fleet management system data, the sensors, and these applications usually require a bigger uplink traffic. Continuing with some other additional points, dynamic carrier selection, it's a unique feature as well. We can assure capacity optimization as well as redundancy per carrier for each sensor or machine that is connected in case there is a radio interference. We have GPS and Ethernet synchronization, inter and intra-site synchronization that maximize the capacity and eliminate self-interference. Dynamic channel bandwidth selection that assures the highest throughput, considering the best channel and actual throughput per direction. And as I mentioned, we have an SLA per site. Moving to the point-to-point, RADWIN 2000, high capacity up to 750 and long range up to 120 kilometers that allows connectivity for remote site and addressing backhaul application needs. Dynamic channel bandwidth that I mentioned before available here as well. Highest packet switching power, 350K PPS. It ensures high capacity. Reliable link assures the connectivity in congested spectrum and tough path condition. Again here, 90% uplink traffic is available. The deployment flexibility, no configuration requirement, and TDD frame synchronization to support multiple point-to-point co-location installation. RADWIN mobility solution, fiber in motion, I mentioned it before. Some of the parameters here were mentioned, 750 megabit of user throughput per base station, up to 5 kilometers of coverage area. It is ruggedized, as I said, it is designed for transportation. So it's supporting harsh environment application with IP67. Configurable uplink and downlink, asymmetric traffic, guaranteed bandwidth, seamless handover. High reliability as it provides low latency and jitter. Quality of service over there, and as I mentioned, for the rest of the product, TDD synchronization, synchronized protocol. We have another unit that is not a radio per se, it's more an accessory, but it is used in mining applications as well as ports, smart cities, etc. It's an all-in-one power and communication solution, a variety of power and networking interfaces to connect cameras, wireless broadband radios, Wi-Fi access points, sensors, etc. It has a unified management system for monitoring, configuring, and controlling all the power, the network, and the alarms. It has an optimized characteristic. Both it is small in size, very lightweight, IP67. It's an optimal outdoor unit with multiple power input option and multiple power output option, including battery for the power input. So again, highly valuable equipment that can be used for this type of application together with our radios. To summarize what we have seen during this session, teleoperation is one of the drivers for digitalization project in mining, in ports, in construction site, but also elsewhere. Many of those applications require mobility solution or wireless network to mitigate tough geographical challenges or network implementation due to the fact that it's remote sites and usually there is no ability to place a cable or a fiber. Many of these applications are critical applications which mark high reliability needs on the network. There are increased and it's continue to increase the number of cameras and sensors to allow smoother operation, but it requires higher capacities with low latencies and low jitter connection with minimal packet loss. This is important and important to keep in mind to allow smooth and reliable operation. RADWIN brings to this market a complete overall solution that includes both the fixed that we haven't talked about, as well as these teleoperated mobile network with high capacity dual carrier beamforming base station with improved interference immunity that I mentioned, the Jet Duo, up to 1.5 gigabit, high capacity mobile network with up to 750 megabit per base, synchronized network with up to 90% uplink traffic, very reliable, high capacity and wide coverage, both for the fixed and the mobile network. And of course, it is optimal for all these type of cameras, sensors, machines that are used for this type of applications. For any questions that you have later on, and the presentation will be sent to you as well, the recording, please feel free to contact me by email at d_g@radwin.com. I remind again, please join us for the additional webinars that we will have that will be focused on specifically on mining and then specifically on the port. And for those of you that have asked questions, I will answer if I missed any question that I haven't responded during the session. I will respond by email on a private email later on. And thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you in our next session. Thank you very much and have a great day.